Welcome to Money 911. I'm your host, Kris Miller, and we are going to explore strategies for unlocking financial freedom and crafting a lasting legacy. Today's episode, ChatGPT, The Fast Path to Cash, features Tracy Repchuk, a renowned entrepreneur and digital pioneer. As a 9-time #1 international best-selling author and global speaker, Tracy's career is a testament to what can be achieved with vision and resilience. Join us as we dive into her journey and insights on innovation, digital branding, and the transformative power of AI. All right, Tracy, it's so wonderful to see you and have you here. And I've been so honored. I've actually gotten to work with you, which was a wonderful experience with Legacy Shifters, and
Yes.
and there you are with Legacy Life.
I
And
know.
it's my heart of living the legacy and showing people how to do that. And
Yes.
I gotta give it to you. You're a master in it, right? You've really gotten. You started a software company at 19, so you've got some brilliance there. And I bet you, what was it? Because I always wanted to know, what was it? I mean, you're very successful. And then what made you pivot from that software company at such an early age?
Well, okay. So yeah, back to the software company, which are the beginnings, right? So
You're
I'm
beginning.
19 years old. I'm about to graduate with a degree in computer programming. And one of my professors pulls me over and he says, "So what are you going to do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to go to Toronto. I'm going to be a computer programmer." And he said, "Oh, no, you're a leader. You're dynamic. You're outgoing. People follow you. You are an entrepreneur." And I didn't know what that word meant. My dad was a factory worker. My mom stocked shelves. And so it was a very interesting experience. So because when he said that sentence, it resonated so deeply with me, right? That I was like, okay. So I go home and then I come back the next day back to school, and I say to him, "What is an entrepreneur?" Because we had no internet, right?
Right.
The library was closed. There was nowhere for me to find out what the heck this was.
Right.
So, and he said something to me that has allowed me to survive in business now for almost 40 years. And he said, an entrepreneur is somebody who finds a need and fills a gap.
Mm.
And I was like, well, okay. So I literally started searching that day while I'm still in school through the newspapers looking for the need and then to fill the gap. And so before I'd even graduated, I started my company. I'd never ever had a job. I didn't go to Toronto. I didn't submit my resume anywhere ever. And that was it. I literally began my company at that moment. And so, I started the software company, became extremely successful, was a millionaire by the time I was 21. Multiple properties, bought the BMW, all the thrills that you can imagine, right? And then, so how did we shift to other things? And that's really what it's been about. Technology is a raging river. And so, yes, I started in hardware and training, and then we moved to the software element because there was the gap, right? The person's software couldn't do what they really needed it to do. So, I started hiring programmers to fill these gaps. And then, of course, fast forward to 1992, and that's where the internet started to emerge. It wasn't even called that. It was called the super information highway. And
Right.
so I'm like, holy mackerel, this is it. This is the next big thing. I go all in on that, knowing it's the next big thing. And then I got hired by the government and J.C. Penney, Walmart, Home Depot, cities, large corporations, the lottery corporation, banks, because they had no idea what this new thing was, right? And so it's really been a journey of seeking constantly what is the new technology that's about to emerge, and then jumping in at the moment that it becomes, key that people start to do that. I've done it with programs, I've done it with all sorts of things.
You've
But
done
if
it
we
for sure. Right.
yeah. If we specifically look at legacy, though, which is a funny, thing, that has been a core part of my journey for the entire time, because I had a near-death experience. I received a message that, you're on a mission, you have a purpose that only you can do. And the key part of that message that I received was, it wasn't just for me, it was for everyone. And so it became part of my journey. In my early years, I didn't have the capacity or know-how on how do I do that for somebody other than myself. I have crafted my own personal life around this premise, but I didn't know how to teach others to be able to do it. And of course, it's been in the last 3 years now that the technology has been there, the system and structure has emerged, and the formula came out for me to be able to help others to truly accomplish this. And so that has been an absolute a blast, dealing with helping others to create their legacy life.
That's fabulous. And, AI and entrepreneurship and pioneer since 1985, right? So
Yeah.
I want to know what, the chat GPT, the fast path to cash. What is it? How do you see the AI chat GPT redefining success for modern entrepreneurs?
Well, it was outcomes chat GPT. Like I'm going back before it even became, the thing that it is today.
Yeah.
And I see this thing and I'm wondering, like, what is this AI technology? So of course I start to play with it, and I was blown away. I was a kid in a candy store. Again, a programming background, needing to understand,
Uh-huh.
prompt engineering, right?
Right.
It's the perfect fit for me. So again, what do I do? I jump all in with glee and excitement. I now have 148 books written on ChatGPT prompts. I have a whole e-commerce store for books written for anything you'd ever imagine on ChatGPT. But how does it affect a entrepreneur per se, right? Well, we're going back, go back to 1985 when I began. My entire office was the yellow pages, right? That was
Right.
the only way we had to promote, the phone or door to door. Then, of
Mhm.
course, we moved into social media. Then we move into the internet, and then we move into all of these amazing technologies into today, where ChatGPT came out and blew them all away. I
Right.
mean, this has been incredible. And I know there's a lot of controversy and worry about AI, and it's absolutely true. Outside of the entrepreneurial world, AI could be weaponized, right? Okay,
Yeah.
let's ignore that. That's not our field.
Right.
What is our field, though, is how do we use this to help us grow faster, make more money, get more visibility? And it's all there. Everything is built in. You put in a prompt and you can have 110 social media calendar ideas for yourself. You go over to Canva, you can import that in, and it creates all the prompts and all the images and things for you. Where we are now is such a night and day for me about, where we were, that it has accelerated the pace at which entrepreneurs can get content out, get their message out. And so now it becomes, backing up a bit. And you've always understood this very well because of your legacy shifters kind of messaging, is that the messaging now, it needs to be precise. We need to create the movement around our message that we were destined to deliver. And then we need to create a program that attracts our exact right fit client so that we can deliver this message. And ChatGPT just makes all of those steps so much simpler that it's allowed me to, again, create the program that I've created now because of the speed we can get to market.
So the legacy life, right? You talk about the legacy life and your concept, intertwines with the, merging tech, chat GPT, to create impact and everything. Now, to maybe explain a little bit the legacy life to everybody so they can get in that mindset. And also, when you say chat GPT, are you really just focused on that? Or these are two questions in one. Or are you on something like Playground that's got all of them in there and you can figure out which one you want to use?
Yeah, so let's back that up. So the traditional definition of legacy is to build something that is passed on. It means you're going to determine, what you're going to leave for your family. You're building
Right.
generational wealth, and distributing assets. So a legacy life is about aligning your divine message to your purpose-driven goals so you can reach millions and deliver from your overflow. That's one of the biggest differences. So that is the state of abundance. So you start to live and embody your legacy without effort. It's about living now and contributing on a large scale. You're happy, peaceful, productive. It's about living out your bucket list and having plenty to share. So that means really it's about kind of living your legacy, not leaving it. That's one of those nuances for sure. But the biggest thing I think is it's about having abundance. All of us were meant to have unlimited abundance, right? And then it's part of a lot of people's journey, whether that comes to fruition or not. But my goal is to get people to a freedom lifestyle within their business so that you can do what you want, where you want, when you want, with who you want, so that you can do the bigger picture, which is kind of philanthropy, that type of concept. And that is embedded into the Legacy Life Wheel, which has 8 major key drivers for your business around influence, impact, income, and of course, the ultimate, which is the legacy. So that's the fundamentals of it. And how it's distributed or how the program unfolds in the beginning doesn't leverage ChatGPT a lot because we don't need it, right? It's only as we approach that, because the goal of that program is actually to make a 7 figures in 2 years or less. We start to really leverage ChatGPT at the scale element of the program. Because the beginning parts are so simple, I've stripped away technology, I've stripped away complexity, I've stripped away mass marketing, and we have gone back to my 1985 days of really securing key clients for you that will get you your $1 million in sales. And that's the 10 people at, let's say, $100,000, right? As far as a goal is concerned, it's about simplifying, it's about reversing that need to have an ascension model or all of the technology, all the CRM, all of those complex funnels that everybody exploded with and built to the tune of them being drowning in technology and them, absolutely frustrated every time they turned and a website broke and a funnel broke and this link broke. All of that is actually gone until you're now at such a state that you're ready to scale. You have a full-time person monitoring all of that for you. And all it's doing is leading to a growth strategy because, I really found that people got so encumbered with technology that they forgot the business part of life. They forgot the numbers. They forgot the ABCs of running a business and went right to the technology. And it's not surprising that that happened because so much was thrown at everyone so quickly. I'm lucky I can consume it because I'm a techno nerd, whatever you want to call me. I'm literally a computer programming accountant who's been forced to become the front of her company. But I'm an introvert that had to be an extrovert. And so I love the consumption of technology, and I can see for sure how people got almost sucked into the complexity of all of the pieces that you needed to run a model. And then here's where the model breaks down. And that is, in order to do the ascension, which is, have somebody opt in and the $7 and the $10 and the 97 and then 1,000, then maybe 5,000, then 10,000, all the way. You're pushing this brick up a hill or this ball up a hill, this really this massive boulder while you have like these cement shoes on.
Right.
But the thing that became extremely apparent is then you had to have almost anywhere from 10 to 15,000 people pour into the top of your funnel in order to get the conversion by time they hit the top, right? By time they hit that high ticket offer that you want to make. And so as a result, you spend 80% of your time focused on the wrong thing. That's that 80-20, Pareto principle type of thing, right? And so you're spending 80% of your time focused on that instead of 80% of your time finding that one right fit client that fits the program that you want to deliver.
Right. Exactly. Well said. Well said. Oh, I'm listening and going, boy, that's me. Right. But, your marketing miracles, your 31 days to millionaire marketing miracles, what role does Chat GPT play to accelerate the journey? And like I had asked before, are you just isolated to that one chat, or is it an overall like playground concept, or use customized? What's your thoughts on those?
Okay, so 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles. That was my flagship book. That was what launched me into my speaking career, into everything that I became way back in 2006, right? It was the A to Z of internet marketing. It was the Bible for 3 years in the marketplace. It went to #1 on Amazon. Got 160 testimonials. Wiley Publishing picked it up. It was such a powerful book in the marketplace. So that was the flagship. So those fundamentals that I go through in the book on how do you build an online business all remain intact really today. So now then along comes ChatGPT, and what role does that play?
Right.
Well, in my business, it's pretty simple. I have tons, obviously, there's tons of ChatGPT related, AI related tools we can go out there and play with, right? Versus just ChatGPT. We can have video ones, we can have illustrative ones, we can have ones that will research for us. And all of these things. I am extremely simple, and that's why I have these books, these what I call a prompt pack, which means, let's say you wanted to do lead generation. Well, I have a lead generation prompt pack for $10. That's all it costs. And it has 150 prompts in it that you would put into ChatGPT to help create a lead generation strategy. And again, there's now 140 of these that deal with every topic you'd ever encounter in your business. And so this is how I play the game. But there's a million ways to play the AI game. But here's what I always do with my clients and what I've always done with them to keep them from squirreling, right? From spending, you could spend days, weeks playing with ChatGPT and enjoying yourself and finding it fascinating, right? But did it make the cash register ring that day? The answer is usually no. It now takes a very strategic path on, okay, great. I've generated these 5 lead generation prompts. Now I have to take those and I actually have to apply what I need to do with those, the data that ChatGPT generated for me. So within the program, or within all my programs, actually now, I rewrote one of my programs called Your $1,000,000 Design, which all that program did was teach somebody how to create an online course guaranteed to sell. 15 years I've had that program. Now, of course, with ChatGPT, the whole entire program got rewritten to incorporate ChatGPT directly within it, because that is the perfect solution for the perfect application, creating an online course, leveraging ChatGPT technology. And
Brilliant. Yeah.
so it's a question of where does it exactly fit? Does it benefit the person directly and immediately without distraction? And that's what you always want to be thinking about when you're playing with technology like that is, am I getting sucked down a rabbit hole like
Mm,
social media can do, right?
right.
Um, or am I using this in a way to convert and set myself up for one of the three driving principles in life, which is what's making the cash register ring today, what's moving my business forward today, or what is helping me to expedite delivery and success for my clients.
Perfect. So how do you, because there's a real balance there, even when you're, doing the prompts and things, you're talking to the AI or whatever. How do you balance the technology and the human touch so you get it more personable and sound less robotic?
Yeah. And so I use ChatGPT as a starter, right?
Okay.
It's beautiful for that because there is no more blank page anymore. Especially, we write so many emails out of my business because I have, three major product lines. I have 150 books. So all of these take a nurture and a promotion sequence. So we're writing emails in a massive scale.
Mm,
And so me writing from scratch, which of course is what we used to do, right? I've come from that era where I used to have to handcraft every single email, but man, that would take hours and hours and hours. Now I punch in the data to ChatGPT about what I want as a transformation and an outcome within an email series. Write me 10, right? And then it gives me 10 emails. And then I personalize those. I move them to my voice. I make sure that there's not, ChatGPT and those tools often have a habit of coming up with whitewash noise sometimes, right? Hey, you can make your great breakthrough.
right.
Whatever it is, it's the things that are always said. And so I make sure I pull a lot of that white noise out and replace it with things that really matter, like a case study, like some connected data. And so that's how I keep things personalized. Now, having said that, are there people out there cranking out emails from ChatGPT and not changing a word and sending them out? Yes.
Mm.
And eventually, all of that will not convert simply because they will start to get recognized as white noise. But the good news, in a way, too, is the more you play with ChatGPT, the more it learns your voice. So I am noticing week after week after week, there is less and less for me to craft.
Did you put your prompts into the chat itself, or it's just recognizing it over time?
It's recognizing it over time. So as you're doing your chats, for example, let's say I do a chat prompt on create 10 emails for me for my Legacy Life event. Okay. Then I do another one that says create 15 emails for me connected to my Legacy Life quiz. Let's say I do like 10 different things within that framework, then it actually accumulates all of the knowledge. It starts to see what I want, what I say, what I change, and what I ask it to do more precisely. So let's say I say, do this 10 emails or do this 10 social media things. Then I might say, okay, now craft the actual post that would go with that headline. And then I might say after that, okay, this was great, but can you add, an example, a live testimonial example, whatever. And so now it can draw from all the content that you've been accumulating within the platform all of this time and start to grab from that and insert it. And just starts to become like a great employee, like a good VA type of thing. And so there is, opportunity there, especially to not have to hire so many people in the future, but more importantly, we'll get the speed done, and it will be very close to what you want it to say on your behalf. And it's getting more and more advanced. Now we can upload our personal documents and it can turn it into a podcast, two people talking, right? On the content in such a way that it is absolutely mind blowing. This is what's coming down the pipeline now, that I'm experimenting and playing with on, and thinking, how could I leverage this content, this almost simulcast fake podcast based on my content, right? And
Yeah.
this is where faceless Facebook, faceless Instagram, and in a way, not personality based, which means it's my content, but not me doing it. All of this technology is actually leading to income in huge ways. People are listening to this. They're going to Instagram accounts that aren't of a personal nature. They're following these people with their quotes and their things that have been generated, and so there's pop groups out there that aren't real, right? They're simulcast, all sorts of. Where we're going is a little bit mind blowing, and the key is to assess the where we're going, integrate it where you are right now, so that you still satisfies those key business drivers, and just stay aware of, how can this next piece, or how could that piece apply? And if it doesn't apply yet, don't go chasing it, okay? Because you want the technology to fall into your lap and feed and assist you, not be a distraction, like the early days of social media, like the early days of and anyone who played with ChatGPT but didn't use it for their company, like the early days of all of the technologies that have emerged, where you're learning, spending so much time learning it, that there's not a direct application that will assist you.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. That, you know, and I'm sure with all the merging trends, and what what future trends in wealth creation are you seeing? So obviously this is about the fast path, the cash, and chat GPT. So someone that's just waking up into it, well, how do they, where do they start so they don't go down all the rabbit holes and chase all these different, oh, there's a new one. Oh, I should do this. Like, it's overwhelming for someone that doesn't have your brain.
Yeah, it is overwhelming. And I think this is often, I mean, I wrote these guides. I wrote these guides like, how do you select your target market, right? And then, of
Yeah.
course, there's all the prompts on how do you select a target market, so that you could take this, a $10 book, and you could go through it within ChatGPT. That's if you're starting right at the beginning, or you want to get tighter on your right fit client. The key here is the order of how you proceed into a business hasn't changed. It hasn't changed since the book I wrote, 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles. You still need to understand, who is your target market? Who are you going to serve? Then you have to understand, what are their needs and wants? And then you have to understand, what product or service am I going to create to satisfy and deliver what they are looking for, that type of thing. So the principles of the order we are going in do not change. It's a question of just simply leveraging very specific prompts for that exact step that you're on. Don't try and solve some, shipping and billing issue and have, ChatGPT come up with, the 10 best methods for, getting your goods out of eBay, if that's not what you do. So it's all about staying true to the steps that are in place to start up an online business, or a business, whatever it is. Pretty well, it's considered online now.
Yeah.
And then just toe stepping through each of the pieces, and then leverage technology where you can. The best thing and the best advice that I will give, though, is get a mentor that will guide you through your journey. Because two major reasons. One, you can't read the label from inside the jar. So even if ChatGPT or something tells you to go a direction, it may not be the right one. It might not be your gift, right? I'm going to go back to aligning your divine message to your purpose-driven goals. And the other reason I say this is it is way more complicated today than when I started a business back in 1985, where we had three items we needed to worry about. And that was getting a client, paying the bills, and getting money, right? Those were we didn't have the internet. We just got computers, right? And when I began, it was the first IBM, $25,000 and a Epson printer for 8,000. That was my company at the startup. So, it was simpler back then. Now we have distractions, but if you follow that and get the help that you need, you'll get there so much faster than trial and error, trial and error, trial and error.
Right. Go to the master. In fact, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you.
Well, there's a lot of ways to reach out to me. I think the best way to get started is if you go to legacylifequiz.com. What you'll do there in 60 seconds, you can take a quiz, and it's going to determine your score based on those 8 principles and those 4 key drivers. And it's going to tell you, do you need to focus on income, influence, impact, or are you at that legacy stage, right? Then it's going to tell you the next steps you need to take. And then from there, you can actually book a call and have us go through your score with you and then determine where should you start, right? Like in my case, you may not be starting at that legacy life program, at that legacy life level. That's for people who want $1 million company. Maybe you're back at some other program where the goal is 150,000. You see, so we determine where should you begin based on where you are, based on the niche that you serve, based on the target market, based on your skill set. Everything gets determined precisely for you, and then you can take it from there. You can either just continue to leverage the tons of free information I have on all of my social media platforms, or you can kind of toe dip in and say, "Yeah, I'd like to have you as my mentor. Let's see what this looks like."
Fabulous. That sounds fabulous. And maybe just off the top of your head, is there one in particular thing that I believe you're having an event and you're excited about for the end of this year and beginning of next?
Yeah, so I do an event 4 times a year, and it's called the legacylifeevent.com. It is a brilliant event to attend for a couple of reasons. One, if you want to see the new coaching model, the new model that has emerged now, you want forward motion trends, I'm going to reveal that in a 4-hour virtual workshop. You're going to see a new coaching way of coaching and a way of pricing your coaching that you probably have never seen before. At least not in this industry, okay? And I call it the success share. And so it's a fantastic model, not only for newcomers, because it becomes affordable, but it's also a fantastic way for a coach who is confident to say, hey, I don't mind kind of waiting to get paid until you've hit certain mile markers, because I know I can get you there. And it's a very rare experience to see. But I believe this new coaching model that I've kind of been unfolding now in the last year is going to become standard. And if you get in now while you're becoming a part of it, and then you start to do this too, you're going to be in a position of what's called preeminence, which means you're ahead of the curve. You're positioned as a thought leader and an influencer rapidly. And this is how we're doing it and how we're moving people so rapidly to, to stronger income than they've ever had before. And of course, getting that visibility and positioning. And so legacylifeevent.com, if you use the promo code, all capitals, LLVIP, Legacy Life, very important person, you can come for just $1, and that's courtesy of Kris here. It's, I've known Kris. She is just so confident. She is such a giver. I wanted to do something special for you, who, of course, follow and listen to her, so that you could come and experience this for yourself. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this 5 months from now, there'll be another one coming up.
Fabulous. Well, I'm going to try to figure out how to get there, because I want to get my Living Legacy program out,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So people have
absolutely
safe money and a fabulous future, and
Yes.
can live the legacy now, not wait till they die, right?
Absolutely.
That's the idea. That's
Yeah.
the point.
That's is the whole point. And that's it exactly. It's living your bucket list now and
Right.
having so much abundance
Yes.
that you can help others, you can share,
Yes.
you can do philanthropy.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful way to live. And I believe we were meant to live that way.
Yep.
We were meant
Me
to live
too.
in a state of abundance.
That's right. Absolutely. Amen. I totally agree. Trace, we could just go on and on and on. I'll just have to have you come back, because I have barely even opened all the gifts that you have. But I just wanted to thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom. And you got my brain going again, too. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kris.
Tracy, thank you so much for sharing your transformative vision and insights on utilizing digital tools to build a legacy of innovation. For our listeners, seize the opportunity to connect with Tracy and start crafting your own path to success. Thank you for tuning in to Money 911. Make sure you subscribe and share. And every episode will bring you one step closer to your financial goals. Keep dreaming big and turning those dreams into reality. There's so much to learn about healthy money. I hope today's discussion brings you one step closer to securing and protecting your future. So you can get started on the right foot, go to meetwithkrismiller.com and schedule your free financial fitness strategy session. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to Money 911 so you don't miss our next episode, which includes health, wealth, and peace of mind.